We're live.
Hey everybody, it's Elizabeth, and this is Smoky Magic Media Live. You're tuning in right now on the Mountain Fun Life channel. Thank you guys for supporting us. Be sure to like and share this video. We're really excited. We've got a returning guest back on the show to talk about seasonal pests with us. You don't want to miss it. Stay tuned. We're going to roll the intro. Hey everybody, it's Elizabeth, the owner of Smoky Magic Media, a social media marketing company here in the Smoky Mountains. And I like to bring people on my show to talk about what they've got going on with social media, how they're engaging their followers, and just talk about their business. So today we have a repeat guest. We've got Chris Santino with Bug Busters back on today. And now you came on back in the spring. You talked to us a little bit. Now you're going to talk to us about fall pests. So these seasonal pests that come out at this time of the year as things start getting cooler.
That's correct. As soon as that first cold snap comes in, ladybugs, stink bugs,
Yes.
box elder bugs, they all come out to the party.
Yeah, all of that starts coming out. So we've got your Facebook page up here. You've been showing some kind of cute stuff. This is hilarious. This is a stink bug. So let's talk a little bit about stink bugs, because anybody that's ever had them in their home, I mean, they are smelly. And my cat actually tried to eat a stink bug one time, and he was like foaming and like trying to spit it out. So I guess they taste bad for cats too.
Well, based on the smell, I would say they taste bad as well.
Bad.
Well, you know, when it comes to stink bugs, the biggest thing is trying to just seal the cracks around your home.
Okay.
Applies to ladybugs and box elder beetles as well. Windows and doors. Once they get in, usually they're difficult to get out.
Okay, so you want to make sure that you prevent them from ever even entering into your home by having everything sealed.
That's the first step, trying to seal up everything the best you can. Of course, when we live in an area, you got cabins hanging off the side of mountains. Sometimes it's not the easiest thing to do to seal up a window. That's your third story.
Right.
So sometimes it requires a professional to come in to be able to use some form of pesticide to reach those high areas, to repel those flying seasonal pests away and keep them out of your house ultimately.
Now you shared a thing here about ladybugs. Talk to us a little bit about ladybugs. Growing up, I lived in a log home, and they would be everywhere. I mean, they'd be crawling all over the windows. I remember they'd be flying around the lights, and they'd fall into the glass, base of the light bulbs and everything. So what is your approach to helping people deal with ladybugs?
Well, I get corrected on this a lot, that we have ladybugs and then Asian lady beetles. And the biggest thing about the Asian lady beetles is that, yet again, sealing up around the house is the biggest thing. They're attracted to the warmest parts of the house. So wherever the sun hits the side of your cabin or side of your home, that's going to be an area where you'll have more of a concentration. And it's the same concept. Once they get in your house, it's very difficult to get them out of the house.
Right.
I know at one time last year I saw some stuff floating around on Facebook about ladybugs actually getting in underneath the bridge of a dog's mouth.
Oh, I saw that weird photo.
Yeah, and based on some research, that is actually something that I guess has been a problem in the past. So they can,
and that's the Asian lady beetles
Asian
themselves.
lady beetle.
What is the difference between that for those of us that don't know? I mean, we see something looks like a ladybug, we call it a ladybug, but they bite, by the way.
Well, and I was guilty of that as well, as far as I see a red bug and say, that's a ladybug.
Yeah.
Well, the biggest characteristic is that there's a M shape on the top of an Asian lady beetle's head.
Okay.
They're both beneficial insects. The biggest thing about the Asian lady beetle is that they do bite. Ladybug does not. Asian lady beetle does cause minor irritation, but they are capable of breaking the skin.
Yeah, yeah.
So a lot of people don't know that
You
they bite.
find it out the hard way when you're like, oh, it's so cute, but it's not.
No, it's really not. And, they can ooze a orange liquid out of their legs. So, I mean, just all around, definitely.
They have a smell to them, just like a stink bug.
Just like a stink bug.
It's kind of a nasty aroma. So if you have a lot of them in a windowsill and you take a fly swatter to it, it's not really the best idea.
Well, it would stain anything that you smash against.
It's nasty.
And it's going to leave a very musky odor behind.
Yes.
So, I mean, biggest thing is if you have stink bugs, ladybugs, or any pest that's inside the house, best thing to do is just vacuum them up.
Okay.
And treating the outside for any seasonal pest is prevention is the key.
Right.
By sealing up some of those windows, and if you can't, having a professional come in. We have so many options on the table to try to repel the insects away from the house.
So they don't even come in.
They won't even be attracted to the structure because it'd be repelling them away. Sometimes repels them to the neighbor's house, but as long as it's away from your house, that's the big thing.
Really, everybody in a neighborhood would benefit from having you come out and treat the houses.
I always tell the neighbor or the customer, just keep a couple cards so when the neighbor has them, you can just hand them one of mine. Now,
one of the things I've heard some people encounter is fleas in their yard. And I know I had referred you to somebody that was having an issue with that because of their neighbors, their dogs running into the yard. Has that been a problem that you dealt with a lot this summer that you've been helping people with?
Well, fleas actually are really not bad yet. Usually about October is the prime time flea season. But yes, I have had a lot of calls from people having issues with fleas in the yard, and it's very difficult to control.
So fleas are another autumn into winter pest because they're seeking warmth.
Exactly. And once that cold weather comes in, most of your pests are going to go into like survival mode. They've got to figure out something or they're ultimately going to die in the elements. So when it comes to fleas, the biggest thing, keeping your grass short and your pets treated.
Right.
Usually with those two things together, you should be able to have some form of control. All fleas are attracted to shaded areas. So underneath trees in your yard,
make sure that
they're more likely to have some flea activity in that area. But if it's a tall grass, it's going to be easier for them to thrive.
Now, another thing that in the fall, because of leaves coming down and people raking leaves, do you recommend that they do something different than rake them against their house?
Well, a lot of insects feed on decaying organic matter, which would be
so they would
leaves.
feed on the leaves.
They would feed on the leaves once they start decaying. So moving that stuff away from the house is not only going to make your home prettier, but also keep the bug activity down. A lot of things can be done as far as prevention goes just by basic steps around your house and not necessarily pesticides.
Right.
So we talked about this last time on the show.
Yeah, you will go out to somebody's house and you will actually point out stuff to them.
That needs to be done. And raking leaves and sometimes as simple as cutting branches away from the house.
Okay.
Especially when it comes to ants.
Yes.
They'll just climb right up a tree
and
up
then
onto
they'll come
your house.
right into the house. Yeah, that's one of the things that I appreciate about you is that you'll actually take the time to go out to somebody's house and kind of assess what they've got going on to give them some tips and everything, which is really great because some people will just come out and they'd spray and then the problem still remains.
It does.
And you're not that type of person. I think that's what helps separate you from some of your competition. Is that you don't want people to live with bugs.
Well, some people like to use the spray and pray method.
Yeah, exactly, and it doesn't work.
I like to use a more of a scientific approach on it. Figure out what exactly is the problem, and let's see if we can solve it without hosing your house down.
But you don't need more pesticides on your house. But one of the ways that you kind of, I love some of the stuff that you've posted. You kind of bring some humor to it. Those are fruit flies.
Yep.
And is that another seasonal pest?
I wouldn't define it as a seasonal pest.
Is it year-round pest?
Well, it's more into the mid to late summer and then kind of ending off in the fall time.
Okay.
Comes in, of course, a lot of fruits. Potatoes, apples, strawberries. Usually you'll bring them in from the store. Unfortunately, there's not a lot that a pest control company can do. Sometimes it's simple as just sterilizing your drains.
Because they get into the drain, right?
They'll live into the drains and eat all the stuff that's in there, all that nasty gunk. And sometimes it's as easy as just putting some apple cider vinegar by your sink. They're attracted to that sweet smell, and they'll just sink in that vinegar.
Go in there and they die.
Yeah, some people, put a little Dawn dish soap in there, but in my opinion, just the simple apple cider vinegar is all you need to cut down those flies.
That's a great tip. That's helpful, and definitely if you're dealing with them, because I've been to places where they're flying around, and it's like, where are they coming from? But I guess they'll come right up out of that drain and just keep coming.
A lot of people are surprised, but most of your pest activity, unfortunately, comes from grocery stores. Whether it's fruit flies or roaches. A lot of times people bring them in on potatoes or cardboard boxes.
Or in the paper bags.
Paper bags. Yeah. So it's always good to spend a couple minutes, take a peek through some of that stuff, because you never know what you might bring in.
That's true. That's a good tip to have. You don't want all that staying in your house, especially over the winter, because then, they're just staying nice and cozy inside of your home.
Plenty of food, plenty of warmth.
Well, thank you for coming on again to let us know about it. Now, everybody can follow you on Facebook. You post, information and everything on there. What's the best way for somebody to contact you if they're having an issue or they want to take preventative measures before all of these seasonal pests for fall start coming out?
Well, Facebook is definitely the best way to reach out to me. All my contact information is on there as well. I have a phone number, and I respond very quickly to messages on Facebook.
Perfect.
So if there's multiple different ways, and it's all managed by myself. So if they call the number on there, I would be the one answering the phone.
Yeah, and you have helped me. I called him up one day because of woolly aphids were all over my car. So I really appreciate the fact that you answer your phone, that you're there, that you can be gotten a hold of when something's happening. And especially in my instance, I was panicking because I was on the way to work and I didn't know what to do. So something like that, being able to have a pest control guy that's like, help me, is really, really good. So thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
And thank you for helping our community so much and just being somebody that people can rely on. You offer, quality service. You really care about people's homes and their quality of life, so they're not having to deal with all of those nasty bugs and everything. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for tuning in. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Be sure to share it on social media. A lot of these tips can help a lot of people who are about to deal with some of these seasonal pests. So if you're dealing with stink bugs or the Asian lady beetles or any of those other fall pests, share the video, let more people know about it, and that way they can get in touch with Chris. Thank you guys for tuning in. We've got more coming up.